All right, so yeah, today I woke up kind of excited to see how people would react to Dragon's Dogma 2, and I was hit with this right here. I cannot believe it. The game is sitting at mostly negative. It's not because of the performance issues, it's actually because of this right here, the microtransactions that are in a very optional shop through the game's menu. I'll talk about it. I wish they would have never thrown microtransactions in this game because it's also stirred up so much confusion. I'm going to clear the air on a lot of stuff here regarding this because all this stuff is extremely optional. Now, there is something that is really horrible about how they have handled the save files. And well, you can't even delete a character you created, and you can't even go in and say, like, say you're underway and you've played 70 hours of a character and you want to create a new character. You can't even do that. So you're stuck with one character, and they have no way of deleting characters, creating multiple saves. And Capcom has replied officially about a lot of these issues and what they're going to be doing going forward to update all of this. And they are going to be updating the game and fixing a lot of the issues the game faces. But we're going to start out with this negative rating. I'm like, what? I was really shocked by this because I have been enjoying the hell out of this game. I feel like it is an absolutely stunning game. And, there are performance issues. We'll get into that in just a moment. But yeah, let's get into this right here. This is super important. You can see here we have microtransactions for wake stones, which allow you to revive. There's stuff for fast travel, camps, and a bunch of other stuff. There was also a video, I've seen videos going out by other content creators that are not mentioning certain things that are absolutely critical to this. And again, I want to go on record by saying I absolutely hate of any form of microtransactions in single player games. I hate them in general anyway. That's why I stick to single player games. But Capcom, unfortunately, has done this in their previous games like Resident Evil Remake and what have you. These are extremely optional. All this stuff that you see right here, you can obtain throughout your journey in the game just naturally. 99% of the player base wouldn't even notice this online store, this microtransactions that are not like embedded in the game, they're just through the main menu. So yeah, in that regard, I really don't think that most players will view this as a big deal whatsoever because this type of thing has appeared in previous Capcom games, and those are sitting at mostly positive rating with this exact system in place. There's been a bunch of videos going out by very big content creators that are stating, oh my God, you have to go in here and you have to pay $2 to customize your character if that's what you want to do. They don't say that you can easily customize your character once you're in the game in town. They don't say that all these items are very easily obtainable through your journey. That rift crystals, you're going to have an excess amount of those anyway when you go to these rift stones and try to obtain a new pawn. Like, it's going to be something that you literally will completely, willingly just ignore, like a lot of previous Capcom titles. With that being said, again, I'm going to state over and over, I hate MTX. I hate microtransactions. Now, we also have some takes from other big YouTubers and content creators out there. You guys may have heard of Fighting in Cowboy, and I've seen his Dragon's Dogma 2 review out there, and he did a great job on that. He goes on to say this right here, so we have another take. He says, in the 100 plus hours I put into Dragon's Dogma 2, I haven't needed a single MTX. Character changes, camping gear, wake stones, rift crystals, port stones, etc. All this is obtained in-game just by playing, literally, just play the game, and you get all of this stuff. He goes on to defend himself and clarify. To be clear, I'm not defending MTXs here. I'm saying people need to stop spreading misinformation about crap that's untrue. Fast travel is not pay-gated. You get 5+ port stones per cycle. You get at least 3 character changes per cycle. Saves aren't locked to the cloud, and so on and so forth. There have been so many misleading videos out right now, and people are, canceling their pre-orders or whatever, refunding their game. And I'm like, if I was the dev team right now and I was like an artist that put my heart and soul into this game, I would be devastated. Of course, this could have been managed way better by Capcom. They should have never thrown any type of MTX in this game whatsoever. It's not needed. I don't even think it's going to bring in a ton of money anyway, It's going to be for your 1% trust fund babies that just have money to throw away. Oh, I want more Wake Stone. I want more, Rift Crystals or whatever. Now, we also have this take as well from Blaine, who says, Twitter BS. You have to pay to change your character's appearance in Dragon's Dogma 2. Reality. The first city you visit, which is 20 to 30 minutes in, if you rush, you can buy the item for next to nothing. And then there's also rumors suggesting that you have to pay money to customize your pawns. No, this is all in game. This is all discoverable in game. Everything is just naturally discovered, and you can easily acquire a lot of this stuff. And again, most people won't even notice or bat an eye to the microtransactions, just like if you played Resident Evil 4 Remake or any of these Resident Evil games or any previous Capcom games. But with that being said, adding MTX in a single player game is a slippery slope. You never know when the next game will come out and when they will really start testing the waters with MTX. And I totally get that concern. I get where you guys are coming from. But, I don't think this will ruin the game. If you're like really concerned or on the fence right now, I just don't see it being something that is absolutely going to ruin your game. Now, the next topic is a tricky one and a different story. We got to talk about how when you go into this game, you create your character and you have one save file, one character, you can access all of the vocations. But if you want to go in and create a whole new character, you cannot. And there's not even an option from what players are noticing to delete the save file, your current save file, or anything like that. Capcom has actually responded about all of this in a new official post. So yeah, let's go ahead and take a look and see what they had to say about this, shall we? So they go on to say, to all Dragon's Dogma 2 players, we done messed up. It says, we'd like to update you on the status of the following items, about which we have received numerous comments from the community. To all those looking forward to this game, we sincerely apologize for any inconvenience. Now, crash and bug fixes, we are investigating all those. But let's get into the core stuff, okay? The option of starting a new game being one of those core issues. It says, we're looking at adding a feature to the Steam version of the game that will allow players that are already playing to restart the game. We'll announce more details as soon as we can. So, hopefully that fixes the majority of complaints regarding this. They need to also, honestly, at this point, they should just come out and say, we're going to have multiple save files. We're going to implement that in the game. If they could just come out and say that, that would do wonders to the community response and the response to this game. They really should just give in and finally do that. This one save file thing is not sitting well with the majority of the community. But we got to talk about the paid DLC, the microtransactions, and see what they have to say about that. So they did say all the items listed below can be obtained in-game or as paid DLC items, and they list all of that, which is, I think, for the most part, pretty much everything that is in the MTX shop. Again, like when people say, oh, you have to pay for fast travel, even like the first game, it's very comparable to the first game in the way fast travel is limited. It feels very much the same way. Also, how much fairy stones you actually obtain. I like the ox cart system. I love not knowing whether or not you're going to be facing off against a boss or a monster if you fall asleep, or if it's going to be trolls or what have you. I personally really like that type of adventuring. Now, let's talk about the performance issues. See what they had to say about that. They go on to say this regarding frame rate. A large amount of CPU usage is allocated to each character and calculating the impact of their physical presence in various areas. In certain situations, where numerous characters appear simultaneously, like the cities, the CPU usage can be very high and may affect the frame rate. We are aware that in such situations, settings that reduce CPU load may currently have a limited effect. However, we are looking into ways to improve performance in the future. The Dragon's Dogma 2 team. Yeah, so that's going to be updated. But a lot of people also commented, in the future isn't really reassuring. It'd be nice to know if it was like a week from now or what have you. So, yeah, more solid date on that sure would be nice. And it's just a shame that the game is facing so much trouble right now, so much controversy, unnecessary controversy. And I don't think they expected such backlash over the MTX in general, just because they're like, we did it in, Resident Evil and our previous franchises. It's fine. I think that's where they were coming from. Again, they should have never done it in the first place at all. It shouldn't even exist in a freaking single player game. Like, I'm so sick of seeing it at all. I wish companies would absolutely stop doing this. But anyway, yeah, just stop doing it. Okay. Thank you. And then you won't have to deal with these disastrous launches, and you won't have to deal with the team that poured their hearts and soul into a game that are probably really depressed right now, wondering, like, oh my God, did we just like work for years and years for nothing? I hope that's not the case. I hope that people know that these microtransactions are heavily, heavily optional, and you won't even really notice it whatsoever. Now, I'm going to get into your replies from my most recent update video. So let's get and see what you guys have to say. I love reading your comments, so let's do this. So check it out here. So we have this one from Petra Haas, who says, what a game reviewer says, when a game reviewer says, excuse me, it's 40 hours long. It usually takes me 80 hours. They play it on a deadline, people. Stop the madness. Yeah, so a lot of people are saying, hey, they finished in 24 hours, and they were just breezing through the quest line. Then there were other reviewers that were saying, hey, I'm like 50 hours in, I'm halfway through the experience. So it's very much like Skyrim in that way. You guys know how you can pour thousands of hours into a game like Skyrim. I don't know if you can pour thousands into this one, but I'm pretty sure a lot of players will be able to easily get 100 hours of playtime in this game. All right, so let's keep going. We have Trevor, who says this, I'm 10 hours in and just completed the first quest from the first big city. Don't think I'm going to be done in 24 hours. Exactly. Then also we have Excess Gaming saying, TLDR, Dragon's Dogma 2 is bottlenecked by CPU at the moment and will get fixed one day. This is main low FPS culprit, and GPU settings won't affect it much. So yeah, that's a good assessment right there. Now, next up, we have Maniac, who says this, there is a real ending and a credits roll ending. I suspect IGN didn't get to the real end game. Yeah, so I've read on that, and there is some very interesting things about that one right there. And there's also some very interesting things about the end game, but Capcom really wants to keep that on the down low. They don't want that stuff spoiled, from what I understand. Also, we have this right here. Condemned Informer says they'll never touch fast travel. There is literally microtransactions for it. I didn't know. I did not know at the time that you could do that with the microtransactions at all. I don't know why they included that sort of thing in the game. Again, like, if you want to ruin the game for yourself, go for it. Use the microtransactions. Like, they're just cheats. They're paid cheats. That's how I describe it. But I don't like cheating in my single player games. Like, even if there was a free cheat code, I'm not going to do it. It's that sort of similar thing. It's like a paid cheat code. But then we have Nova Skies X, who says this right here, if I can find it. All right. Says this, I personally didn't even play the first game for the main story. It was a side quest that made the game so fun for me back then. It made you explore the map and completely go out of your way to discover new areas and find hidden secrets. That's going to be the same case for Dragon's Dogma 2. Enjoy the game for the journey, not a race to complete it. I love that. Enjoy the journey. That's what this game really is about. I, again, always compare this one to the Lord of the Rings mentality, that sprawling adventure where you get like super exhausted. You have to make camp with your friends. I love the idea. I love the theme of this game. And yeah, some people, I think it's going to be a divisive game. Some people might not enjoy that, where, fast travel is limited. But, I really do hope people embrace it, or at least try to embrace it and kind of let go. This is one game where you really have to learn to let go. It's almost like real life, actually. But anyway, there it is. The latest happenings around Dragon's Dogma 2. Man, it's such a shame. It's such a shame to see this right here. I'm honestly gutted for this. I really do feel for everyone. Also, the team, the dev team that worked so hard on this game. You could tell they poured their hearts and soul into this game. So I personally do hope that things get updated, and in the long term here, that this game can recover from this controversy. Crossing my fingers, because what is here, in my opinion, is extremely special. And I'm not the only one saying that. But thank you all so much for watching. Stay tuned here for more Dragon's Dogma 2 updates. I have you guys covered, and I will see you all next time. Take care.